I don't know if you can see the birds. Let's try to see if you can zoom out and see them on the water a little bit. This used to be right there. That used to be a lake. It's probably about 1 square kilometer. But for the last week or two, the water has just evaporated. Disappeared. The heat everywhere on the planet. Greetings, everybody. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Sundown, sunset here. I'm looking out the back today, sitting in the back, relaxing. The cool air is on this side. Anyway, let's start off with this short video here. For those of you who are seeing the changes and hearing about, changes going on in the world, you may think it's only in Europe and the Middle East and other places, Far East, China, and not looking at Africa except through the eyes of diasporans who are painting a picture, this magnificent picture to get you to come to Africa. Many of the diaspora channels are now, they have begun to speak about the increasing number of those diasporans who are leaving Africa. And they're all giving the same half dozen reasons that they feel are acceptable, not factual, acceptable. They tell you, well, you came without money. Hello? They didn't tell you that you come with money, but somebody took your money. It costs more, and you had to spend it on other things besides living, because somebody was there. From the time you touched down at the airport, there was a hand holding out from an immigration officer. So the day you left, and they say you don't have this stamp, so go back, get it. However, they're still trying to recruit people, even telling people that people are leaving and giving them reasons why. They're trying to recruit people because that's how they make their living. Africans are not going to invest in what they're selling. So they have to have a steady stream of diasporans who are going to buy into it. And when these people leave, frustration sets in. They make their living off diasporans. They make a few dollars from YouTube, but it's your consultations and your, you going in, they're telling you how to get into business in Africa. But who best knows how to get into business in Africa except the Africans? He's got the ties. So they make a little money from YouTube, from Patreon. They convince you, you know what, they give you the best information, so you stick with them and you send them your Patreon every month. And their consulting fees when you arrive in Africa. But you gotta ask yourself a question. Oh, well, you should. I shouldn't say you don't have to. You should ask yourself a question. Who are we, the so-called diasporans? And what do Africans know about us? When Africans see us, what does he call us? I've walked through villages with African people, villages, any place that I've been in Africa. These are Africans born in Africa, raised in Africa, adults. One guy that I know, he's older than I am. And he shows me around in Gambia. And these people I meet, Africans, born in Africa, they can identify their fellow Africans. You can look at the African and say, he's a Fuller, he's a Mandinka, he's a Jola, he's a Aku. $80 to 90% of the time. Me, I'm like 5%. And I spend more time in the village than most diasporans. But when African looks at me, when I walk through the village, the kids call me Indian, Tubab. The adults say Fuller. Some of them will say Fuller. But the majority, I say 80%, 70, 80%, Black American, Jamaican, what is a Black American? When an African looks at himself, he sees a Fuller. He sees a Gambian or Nigerian, Ghanaian, Sierra Leone, and he sees African. He don't see Black African, Black Fuller, Black Nigerian. When you see him, you see African, you don't see Fuller, Kenyan, Tanzanian, you see African. When you come to Africa, you either rent a house, this humongous house, with a pool in the back, or somewhere in the compound. And that's where you live your life. Giving the impression that you have all the wealth on the planet. So when the African think of you, you are ATM. They put together the way you look with the videos that they see on Instagram and YouTube and your music videos, you and your Rolls Royce or Bentley. Black American. You're not African. when I go to the beach somewhere, whether it be Ghana or Nigeria or even Gambia, I see more Caucasian people on the beach than I see diasporans. When I walk through the village, I don't see you at all. If you come to the village, it's because you want to buy a piece of land that's going to be sold to you by another diasporan who bought the land from the village, convinced the village that they should sell their land, and they can get a good price. Village people will be rich. So they sell you a 20 by 20 for the price that 5, 6, 7 years ago you can buy a 30 by 30. When you build your house, you can have a little garden around your house. Today, when you build a house, there is 1 meter between the walls around your house, 6 to 10 feet tall with barbed wire around it, and the walls of your house. You cannot see the sunlight. You can't see the sun, and you can't see the stars. You can't plant a tree that you can sit on outside. If you look in the village, you'll see Africans live. They come out in the morning, they cook underneath the tree. When they go inside at night, it's to sleep. You stay in your house completely day. No trees around your house. You don't walk around the village. You can look at my videos, you'll see walk around the village in Bruceby or Sanyang or what. I've met about 5 all single black American women. As a matter of fact, a couple of them have had their lives taken. Walk past me, we never speak to each other. They go take a taxi, or the taxi bringing them in. Never seen them walking around the village talking to village people. Those people who are convinced you should come to Africa, it's things like this that they should be warning you about, teaching you about. When I walk through the village, sometimes I see these young men, 20 years old or so, got a backpack, and they're sitting or standing by a wall. I know exactly why they're there. They're watching who's going in and out, especially diasporans. You will see them one day close to the highway, next day further into the village, closer to your house. And you think that they live in the village because they're sitting around doing nothing. But they're watching you. The people who encourage you to come to Africa don't tell you about it. And you need to know these things. Because when you come and you find out what the reality is on the ground in Africa, you try to work around it, and there's no workaround. So you have to leave Africa. realize your money's going too fast. You only have a limited amount of money. I've met people, African and other people, talk to me about meeting people who come, women especially. No money. They meet you and say, you know what, I have this business, or I'm opening a business and I want to borrow some money. Can you help me out? All this is knowledge that you should know before you leave America, before you leave England. The other thing is, they not tell you that America is already in Africa. Same thing that they do in Europe and the Far East and the Middle East is coming to Africa. Because if you look at history, you see what the British did to the Kenyans, Tanzania, when the British Empire was falling. They committed some atrocities just like what the Israelis are doing to the Palestinians. The British pound was failed. Today it's the American dollar. And you see the war in Ukraine. It's about that money. The war in Israel is about that money. The war in China is about that money. And now Russia and China are coming to Africa. Guess what? America is now trying to establish bases all over Africa. What do you think it's for? You're getting right in the middle of it. These people are not telling you this. Have you ever heard about the pivot to the Far East? Of course not. Geopolitics. They don't talk about it. Obama wanted to confront China to keep China from expanding its influence. Belt and Road, BRICS, all challenges the power that is currently at the top. And Africa is the only part of the planet that doesn't have an army that can defend itself. What do you think is going to happen to you? The Africans are going to fight for you. They don't even know you. They call you Black American, not African. Do you see where you're going into? I'm not saying don't come. But I'm telling you, you got to know these things and prepare for them. Anyway, you have a choice. You can follow the people who want to preach a different story to the truth, the facts. And then when you get to Africa, you're too scared to leave, take a vacation, go back home, because you're frustrated and angry. And you gotta let that frustration somehow. In America, you would go on vacation to Jamaica, remember? Stella. You go to Jamaica, you go to Barbados, you go to Panama, because you're traveling. But when you get to Africa, it's so shameful to go back to America or go somewhere else on vacation because you don't want to look bad. But I'm telling you, the stress. Why are Black Americans leaving Africa? I give you some alternative reasons. If you feel like, compared to what your friends are saying, what your consultants are saying, and see who is wrong or who is right, just look at the facts. Look at what's happening around you. Have a great day wherever you are. Peace.